We have a famous song from our show, Cheese Curds, Booyah, and Beer. We understand Booyah has a big role in Belgian culture. We wonder if you care to share anything about, how you relate to Booyah.
It's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chicken-based soup.
And who makes it?
We have three people here that make it, and they've been making it for years. And the reason kind of came about, I think, is the vegetables. It was a fall celebration. They had a lot of stuff left over, and they used the vegetables and chicken and whatever they could put in. So
I think sometimes Booyah is almost more a matter of what it brings back in terms of memories, because usually if you were having Booyah, something was going on. They made it in huge batches, and so there were a lot of people, and so it kind of is reminiscent of a big celebration, a harvest festival, or somebody got married, or church, or somebody taught grandma into making a big pot of Booyah. It's a special occasion. Back in the day, they used to use all of the chicken, and so the bones, everything went into the Booyah pot. Now today, even, we still have people who will ask, are there bones in it? Because it wasn't that much fun to eat Booyah when you had to be careful of little bones and everything. But now we make it the modern way with no bones, and people seem to like that a lot better.
Do they? No one jokes.
It's Belgian comfort food.
I see, Belgian comfort food. How is Belgian pie unique?
Well, it's less like a pie, the way most people would think of that, and it looks like a big Danish.
Yes.
And it's a kind of a sweetbread crust with some kind of either fruit topping or maybe rice, something like that. And then most of the pies, the best pies, have a cheese mixture that goes over the top of the pie.
Yes.
It's how would you? It's like a cheesecake. Ricotta,
like a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Well, I also understand that, I don't know if this still happens, but in the olden days, people used to make their own beer on their farms. And you mentioned all the taverns that there used to be. There are still some taverns around, not as many as there used to be. Our understanding is the Belgians really like their beer.
Yes.
Is that true?
They
still do.
And next to every church was a tavern. In fact, the bishop said at one time, it seems that the Belgian people, wherever they build a church, they build a tavern. If they build a tavern first, then they build a church. Because it was such a socialization thing to go from the tavern. But they worked hard.
Yeah.
Had beer and spoke Walloon and talked about life in general. Interesting little story about the Kermis. The bishop said to Reverend Pennings, you go and tell all your parishioners in all these little villages that they can't drink and dance on Sunday. Reverend Pennings said, well, yeah, I'll tell them that, but they're not going to like it. And they all went, we're going to do what we want. And so they did. And the bishop was irate. He told Reverend Pennings, you go out and tell every one of these people that they're excommunicated. They're no longer a member of the Catholic Church. Okay, a couple months went by, and Reverend Pennings went back and said, Bishop, you want me to spread the word of the Lord? Well, I can't, there's no one in church. and you want me to build new missions? Again, there's no money coming in because there's no one in church. And so the bishop had to pull in his horns and said, all right, you're all reinstated, and life went on. And they danced on Sunday.
Life resumed.
Life resumed.